Welcome to a video from thedislifestyle.com. This is part 3 of Korg Modwave sound design. In the first part we looked at how you could use different wavetables that are built into the Modwave and how you can use them with your own sound. I looked at the rich modulation routine that you can do on there. That's the power of this device, really. Anything can mod in anything else and then something else. It's amazing on that side of it. Part 2 we looked at how you can use samples that are built into here in your own sounds, and we looked at the mod sequencer. In this video we're going to look at bringing your own wavetables in and your own samples in how you import them into the Modwave, and there's a few different ways we can do that. So this sound you hear here is using a PPG wave. This is wave 9 from the PPG wave, and I've imported that in and then played about with it and modded it a bit and made it sound vintage with the 12-bit effect on it. So how do you get them into Librarian? Well, actually it's pretty straightforward, but there's a few different things you've got to do depending on your starting table. So a wavetable is a sequence of waves that you can morph through on the Modwave. So for example, this, if I simplify this down, goes to one layer, one oscillator. Sound I can so that's the one layer. And you can hear me switching through this wavetable, and if you can see it on the screen, see the wavetable shifting through them. So you could bring your own ones in this. Now there's loads of them available that you can bring in, like these ones, or you can make your own. So first you just import as a wavetable, find the wave that you want to bring in. Say this one here, this is a wavetable of the Ensoniq ESQ1. I've already got that one in, but yeah, I'll bring it in like that, and that's imported that into the Modwave. That will now be available for me to select from the list. Oh, wrong one. And there you go. But you can see there is. I can choose. You can't just import any wave file in as into the as a wavetable. So let me try and find one. So let's go into a different folder where I've got some samples in. I choose a random one. I can't do that. It's not the right length. So the wavetables are 64 waveforms laid side by side. So they've got to be 32-point floating data with exactly 2048 samples long, 16-bit linear. So you've got to have that in that format. So you can export in that format. You can bring it as a wavetable. If you can't, there are some tools available. The one that I use is specifically for the Modwave. You can download this. I'll include a link along with the video. It's called WaveEdit. Fire up WaveEdit. And there we go. So I'm going to do a new bank. So I'm blank. So there's the 64 tables I was talking about. Now you need to bring a file in. So if I go to import, I can browse for the file. And I'm going to start with one that's well formatted that we know works, and sort of work backwards from there. So this, let's go into, say that Ensoniq one which we looked at before. There we go. So import that. Go to waveform editor. Here you can see those waves. Now there's lots more you can do with this. Now you can change these waves. So for example, this one here, I've actually got a pen on this surface, and I can draw. I could draw my own waveform on here using a pen. But there you can see. So these are the ones we just imported. So once you import it like this, I can save it as, and I can call it ID test. And that's going to save it in the WaveEdit folder. Okay, if I switch back to my Modwave and go to import wavetable. Okay, that one I did ID test. I need to save it as ID test.wav so that it shows up better. Okay, so there it is now. Bring that in. That's imported and the dialog box off the screen. There we go. Because that tool has made it the right size, and so now if I go back to my editor, I can do a quick search for ID. There it is. There's that wave. So let's have a listen. There's that one I drew with pen, and then I'm going through this. So that's brought that waveform in. But we can try other things. So for example, you can go to WaveEdit. Let's do a new one. Oh, incidentally as well, you can listen, if you click on play, you can listen to these waveforms as you're testing them. So I think I should be able to capture this through my audio capture software. So if I go to, let's import a new wave. And for this, I'm going to go back to samples. And here is a wave. Here's an actual sample from a Fairlight. This I know isn't going to, wouldn't import if I tried to import it in. But if I go through here, let's import that in. Here you can see, and it should generate, I haven't got my headphones on for this device, but it should generate those waveforms if I play those. But yeah, I don't think this is going to sound like a Fairlight, it's just that wavetable in, but it will sound quite interesting. So I'm only really touching the brushing. I'm only really touching the surface of what you can do with this tool. I'm just using it for the conversion, but you can see I could get it with the pen. You can introduce all these effects. You can do a lot with it. I'll perhaps look at that in a future video. But okay, let's just save that as that was the name of the sample, wasn't it? So it's in the WaveEdit folder. Come back to the Modwave, to the librarian. Let's have a go at importing that. I have no idea what this will sound like. Okay, so that's imported. No idea what this is going to sound like. Let's just go back to let's choose that wave. There it is. Actually, it does kind of sound like the Fairlight are digital, but down here it does. Quite like that one. So there we go, we've made our sound, importing an audio file. I'll actually play the actual R sample shortly. But yeah, we've imported sound and we've made that, and it's in our own list now. So that's how I got in all the PPG waves. But I found them on the internet and just downloaded them, installed them, and I can select them. The other thing you can do with Wave Editor as well, there's an online version as well which you can import back in. So you can upload your own to this as well, and you can browse it and download other waveforms. So there's tons of waveforms available that you can just download these. So you can load that bank like that, and then I think when I go to editor, I can then export that. So you can grab all these ones from online and just download them into your Modwave. So really simple. So it's a great tool. Have a play around with it. It's a really nice tool. Now the other thing that you can do with the Modwave is bring your own samples in. So I mentioned about the Fairlight one. I think in my library I've already got that R sample that I was talking about, which I've imported. So that's the actual Fairlight R. You can see that sample is loaded in it. So how can you get your own samples into here? Well, what you need to do is Sample Builder, and Sample Builder you can install from Korg's website. This works with the WaveStation as well. So this is the Sample Builder, and if I go to so I can create a new multi-sample. Right, so first I need to find the waves I want to use, so let me import a wave. Now this is quite a complex tool as well. We're going to start basic, and then you can then go ahead and come up with your own ideas on it. These are some sounds. This one is a distorted guitar that I resampled from my TX7, so I just recorded it in Cubase and exported it as a WAV file. So I brought that in like that. Now you can listen to those through here. I can't do it because my audio capture software is capturing it, but you can actually go to preferences and you can choose your audio output and actually listen to them here. It makes it a lot easier if you do that, so you don't have to keep transferring them before you're ready. So you can see that sample file has got a bit of a lag at the beginning, a bit of a gap at the beginning. So I can take the start point there. This is in one-shot mode, so it just plays it once and ends. Or you can put it into a loop mode, and you can have an end point and a loop start. So the green line, the yellow line there is the loop start. So I could choose to loop this bit. What I find is you're better to zoom in and find a good loop point. You can experiment with it, but I usually start at a sort of a 0 point there like that, and then go on to get the end one to do something similar. But there's whole techniques and YouTube videos out there on sampling, so I'll let you try that, but you get the idea. You can create a loop. So what this is going to do now, initially when you play the key, it'll play that, and then if you keep the key held down, it just recycles and goes to that bit. So you've got the key range it's going on. You can do a fixed shift if you want to do like drum sounds, and what the originated key is. So this is the key C4. So if I then let's call this TX demo. Okay, and we can save that, and we'll save it as TX demo. You can see all the other ones I've already done. Okay, and what I can do now is I can send that to the Modwave. Okay, that's done. So now if I go into the samples here and if we look for TX, here's TX demo. Well, that's pretty much exactly as I recorded it. And then of course you can do all the other things like I showed you in the previous video. You can combine that with other layers. Let's combine that with there's a bit of guitar. So there, I've just brought in a sound I've recorded and brought it into the Modwave. Now, of course, you can do a lot more with this than I've just done on here. If we go back to the multi-sample, that's on C4. What I could choose to do is have another sound on C5 and have this layer play that sound, or no, you'll play the other way. So let's look at that. Let's have that there, and I'm going to import another wave, and I'll choose let's say choose my gen lead, and I'm going to say that's going to play there. And I would prefer to listen to this, but I can't, so I know I've got it tuned right, so I'm not sure so it's going to play a bit high, I think. I can't hear it, so you get the idea. So what I could also do is, let's drop another one in here, and I'm going to import another waveform. I'll do a bass sound, and that's there. That starts at C3, that starts at C4, that's at C3. Let's make that one C2, and that one C4 as well. Okay, so that's what I've done so far. You can see I have not changed anything else on here. I've not set any crossfades or anything else. Oh, let's just save it. That's the bank, and let's send that. Okay, so let's go back to the Modwave. We still got the wave. So here you can hear the bass sound I had. So I didn't trim them, the other ones, like I should have done, but so you can see how I brought those in like that. So for a drum kit, you could bring in multiple samples and have one on each key, make them fixed, and do it that way. So let's have a look at a couple of the ones that I've done already. So there's that Fairlight R sound, and this is the one I did originally, so it plays the initial bit and then loops around that bit. I think I've got a multi-sample one. Is it drum kit? Okay, so there you see I've put a different drum on each key range, so I can play those. Yeah, you can get a lot more advanced with it. You could actually do the general MIDI key set and make it really easy to play. But you can see I've allocated the type and everything else. So importing samples is really easy, and then you can just use them straight in Modwave. Importing the waves requires that conversion to get them into the right format, but once you've got them into there, you can do anything with it. So it's up to you, you can do anything, but it means that you can use the Modwave as a sample playback engine, no problem. Just create your own samples or download them off the internet, stick them through this, and you can do whatever you want with it. I definitely recommend that you set up the previewing so that you can do the audio previewing rather than keep sending it down each time. For waveforms, I recommend using this Modwave editor. This WaveEdit specifically for the Modwave, because everything seems to work fine. Again, you can preview with that one as well, but there's a lot more you can do with this in terms of bringing those down. So there's it. Oh, they got SQ80. Let's have a go. We haven't got one of them, so let's load that bank. Go back to the editor. So there you can see the SQ80 waveforms. So now I'm going to save this as SQ80 in my WaveEdit. So I'm going to go back to the librarian on the Modwave. I'm going to import a wavetable. So to file, import wavetable. I already had that one in actually, but let's bring it in. Now I can go to here, choose a wavetable. So I can change from a sample back to a waveform, choose a waveform. There we go. So there you go. I brought down that SQ80 waveform, got it in the Modwave now. So really easy to get going with this. Like I said, I've brought all the PPGs in, and I'm going to release a collection of these as a free download, so you can pick some of these. So you'll be able to use. I'm going to offer these for download, and you can give some of these a try. There's some. Nice sounds you can get with this. So you'll be able to download those free. But all I did was bring down these waveforms. So hopefully that helps. This is using samples and custom waveforms in the Modwave. Enjoy your Modwave. Don't forget you can try this with the native version, and there's a free demo as well. So that means you can just run it on PC or Mac. You don't need the hardware one. You can do it on either. So any questions, let me know. You can find out more on digitallifestyle.com.